Those archaeometrics people who are claiming that this has been done by an ancient civilization 30,000 years ago or 60,000 years ago don't have the tool to replicate this.
One ancient construction technique that was believed to be used during the past was the Geopolymer Method. Out of the plenty of other methods on how ancient builders shaped their monoliths, such as sawing, drilling, chiseling, and smoothing, the Geopolymer Method was the most crucial technique to use in order to make the final shape of their stone blocks. In 2017, Joseph Davidovits hosted a conference with the joint research of the Geopolymer Institute of Saint Quentin in France and the University of Católica San Pablo in Arequipa, Peru. The combined research group were permitted to extract multiple samples from the ancient stones of Tiwanaku in Bolivia, South America. This research showed that ancient man collected different materials and stone from 4 sites around the area. They collected samples from drilling and from the smooth surface on top, and they found a mixture of compounds within their samples. Some of these materials were plant extract and fecal matter such as guano for softening and hardening the stone. In the mixture of andesite and sandstone, they found an acidic medium being used during the softening process. The ancient builders used certain plants as an oxalate from fruits and vegetables such as agave, corn, rhubarb, and potatoes. Since oxalates are water-soluble, they can be reduced by boiling or steaming the food, so the liquid containing the oxalates is discarded. Then they would add guano, which also has a natural oxalate to be used during the stone hardening process. Fecal matter was always used in the ancient past. They used it to mix with sap to make sap glue for tools and other objects. Adding this fecal matter would increase its durability and strength. Using a material that has an acidic medium and that has properties to harden over time is a perfect combination to use for a geopolymer process. Can this stone construction technique explain how Pumapunku was created during the ancient past? I believe so. All of these blocks have a similar attribute to them. While the blocks were being constructed with the Geopolymer method, the andesite that was used had other compounds naturally found inside of them such as sodium, magnesium, aluminum, silicon, potassium, and most importantly, iron. Iron is the key to proving that one of the ancient construction techniques was geopolymer. Even though iron is naturally found in the andesite stones, the areas where the geopolymer cement was used had fragments of iron and other metals mixed in, which were all magnetized. As lava cools and becomes solid rocks such as andesite, strongly magnetic particles within the rock become magnetized by Earth's magnetic field. This is how some rocks naturally become magnetic, but by chance of extreme heat, which is then quickly cooled. Although, most stone on the ground that you see won't have any magnetic properties to it because of the chance of extreme heat that's being quickly cooled under certain conditions. In Pumapunku, the areas of the stone where you have a flat base or areas of the outside finish of the block will contain a lot of magnetized iron. This is from the extreme heating process that occurred while the block was being finished. You can even see the mixed sediments in this geopolymer-made stone where the ancient builders just easily made a carved line along the stone. If you take a compass close up to the Pumapunku stone blocks, the compass will turn to an incorrect cardinal path. This is due to the magnetized iron and other minerals that may be magnetized. Almost all of these stones are magnetized, especially the H-shaped blocks, no matter where you're holding the compass. Even using a different compass, you'll still find that the cardinal direction will point incorrectly. As you can see in this video that I filmed of an H-shaped block that is laid down, the cardinal direction will change all across this block. It's not only in between the two arches in the H like a tuning fork. These stones will show magnetic properties everywhere. Watch closely as you can see the compass's cardinal direction change when it's up against the entire surface of the stone. What I believe is that these ancient blocks were created with a hot press geopolymer method. There was a method to heat the geopolymer mix and cool it rapidly, which magnetized the iron. Even when you take a magnet and move it across any of these ancient stones, you'll see a magnetic feedback shown on the compass. This just means that there's an abundance of iron mixed into these stones. If the iron was naturally placed, it would have gaps and areas of having no iron in these blocks of stone. This iron was mixed in with the geopolymer cement that was heated and cooled rapidly. After a magnet was rubbed on the block, some materials in the stone became even more magnetized. What type of tool or process originally made all of these stones magnetic in the first place? Was there a more sophisticated and smarter way of creating these ancient stone blocks using a geopolymer hot press? Every single stone block is precisely flat with no deviations, and it has areas where it does not look chiseled. You can even see air pockets on the flat surface of the stone. Air pockets can be formed naturally when the stone was initially created from lava, but for these stones, there are air pockets everywhere spread out across the entire surface with no gaps of pocketless areas. Along with physically seeing the air pockets, you can even see the layers of the geopolymer finish that they placed on these blocks. In the bottom part of this photograph that I took, the stone shows a mixture of andesite, sandstone, and other minerals, clearly showing that these blocks were created by a geopolymer process, along with using extreme heat and cooling. Further away from Pumapunku lies another ancient temple and town called Ajante Tambo, with monoliths that still puzzles us today on how they were created. This ancient site is similar to the other ancient places such as Machu Picchu and Sacsayhuaman in Cusco, Peru. Just like Sacsayhuaman in Cusco, this ancient town also has stonework just like the ones within their temples. Throughout the streets of Ajante Tambo, you'll find the same ancient megalithic stonework and the modern Spanish colonial stonework on top. The bottom and older stonework still stands today due to its earthquake-proof layout and durability. But there is one stone block that shows that these stones were possibly made with multiple construction methods, but with a geopolymer finish to the outside. This stone has strange grooves on the front of it. It has multiple extruding striations that move from the top left of the stone going down to the bottom right that form into the flat surface of the stone. A very strange look, as the other megalithic polygonal stones do not have this texture on the front. If you take a closer look, you can see that these extrusions are formed into the stone and are not added on afterwards. These striations were created when the megalithic stone was originally constructed. But while I was observing these striations on the stone block, I noticed something very interesting about the shape or outline of them. This could be a case of a form of pareidolia from some very rare natural occurrence, or it could be a mark or imperfection displaying how these stones were originally created by humans. It almost appears to be a handprint that was swiped across the stone block while the rock was in a softer or hotter state. This can visually depict that this stone could have been made by a geopolymer outside finish, along with other ancient stone construction techniques. Is this just a natural occurrence on the rock? An imperfection left behind by the ancient stone builders that created the stone block? Or, as the ancient Inca legend holds, that their gods built these ancient monolithic cities, is this a handprint of the gods? This ancient monolithic doorway that's still being used today has a cornerstone with an outside layer that's coming off of the block. This would show that a cement-like substance was placed over the crudely chiseled stone block to create that outside smooth finish. Besides a geopolymer or cement outside finish on the stone blocks, the ancient builders also applied a gel which consisted of volcanic rock with acid pyrite mud. This gel will harden like stone and creates a reflective surface where it can create a glare when light is shining upon it. This surface can be mistaken as a vitrified surface to the stone, which requires immense heat. This gel-based mixture is a stone construction technique similar to the geopolymer cement method. These ancient builders were masters of their skills and possibly used many methods to create their stone structures. Back at the ancient site of Pumapunku, with all of the intricate blocks laying in ruins, there is a block that has very small holes that go straight through the stone. These holes are incredibly small and are 1.5 inches apart from each other. These holes do not have small circular striations inside of them, which could indicate the use of a drill, but the holes are smooth. If they used the other methods that I previously mentioned, such as geopolymer or acidic-based gel that hardens, this would explain how these holes are very smooth. Scattered throughout this ancient site shows one of many ancient stone construction techniques that was used during the past. This could tell a story of technological advancement of ancient stone building techniques, or it could show that there were only some necessary methods to use depending on the location. Pumapunku is an ancient complex that used the geopolymer cement for their stones along with metal joint locking holders, which is called anathyrosis. This is just another example of one of many other methods used during the ancient past. Ancient geopolymer cement holds a significant importance that stands out from other techniques used. Due to the desired shapes that one would want to create with ancient cement, these builders created surfaces and shapes of different blocks that can fit together perfectly. There is a theory that some of the limestone blocks from the Giza pyramids were made from a geopolymer method. It's still not proven today how these pyramids were created precisely, but it's possible that this technique was just one of many to use to create stone marvels. Both ancient builders must have used a wide variety of methods and tools to construct their buildings and were not limited to just one way of creating them. Ancient builders must have used plenty of combinations of soil, stone, and other organic material to make aggregates. They would have made the cement, which is created from limestone, clay, sand, and then formed into a powder. Then it's mixed with water, which will harden over time. Then, they take the cement in its liquid form and mix it with sand and gravel to make concrete. This isn't modern-day Portland concrete, but it's an ancient method of stone masonry, which is the geopolymer technique used at Pumapunku and other monolithic sites. The ancient builders who created Pumapunku used an ancient form of concrete made from andesite and limestone along with the cement they created. They also used this cement to create an outside finish to the geopolymer stone to form the block into its final shape. As you can see, the complete block has layers of cement flaking off from the outside finish of this block. One big question about these ancient sites of Pumapunku and Tiwanaku is that, who built them? Who constructed such a place with very complex designs in their stonework? The only pieces of identity that the builders left behind is a calendar along with the face of their creator. Near Pumapunku lies the Temple of Tiwanaku, which is a pretty large ancient site. It consists of 2 large square complexes with a statue in the center of each one. The statues located in the center of each square complex were created by the ancient Aymara people around 110 AD. The statues depict their god Viracocha, but based upon the Aymara legend, he was the one who created this ancient temple. The legend says that the god Viracocha was a tall and pale man with a red hair and beard. He created these sophisticated temples, and one day he left this place and never returned. He only left a message saying he needed to help humanity around the world, and said that he returned one day. It was also said that he created these stone heads or skulls that are extruding out from this wall. The legend of the Aymaras state that their god Viracocha created the people of the earth, and that these skulls are a representation of all the different types of humans across the entire world. They all look very strange, and it's said that these heads may have been created in a much later period during the Aymara civilization. It could even be the faces of different Aymara people, but one face stands out from the rest of them. Whoever built this place only left monuments and engravings to show their understanding of time and who they came from. A god? Or was Viracocha a group of travelers, or even an idea, such as ancient stone construction methods that the ancient Aymara people used to create their monolithic marvels? The ancient temple of Pumapunku and Tiwanaku both show cement and concrete being used by means of a geopolymer method. Whoever created this complex had both the knowledge and the technological stone masonry techniques to shape their ancient cities to last over many millennia.